Senior product manager, lead PM, group PM. When someone asks about your ideal next role, is that how you think about it? Just the title? Here's the thing. If that's where your definition stops, you're setting yourself up to accept roles that look right on paper, but feel wrong 6 months in. In this video, I'll share the exact framework I use with every client to define what they actually want in their next role. And this one exercise changes everything about how you search, interview, and negotiate. Let's get into it. I'm James Ganaka, a product management career coach. I've helped hundreds of PMs around the world land roles at companies like Meta, Google, Revolut, Stripe, and more. And one of the first things I do with every single client, whether they've been searching for a year or haven't started yet, is this exercise. Because here's what I've learned from working with all these different product managers. The ones who get clear on what they want don't just land jobs faster, they land the right jobs. They're more confident in interviews, they negotiate better offers, and they don't have regrets 6 months later. So by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to define your ideal next role using a simple framework. And it goes way beyond job titles and salary. Let me start with the why. Why does defining your ideal role actually matter? First, it gives you the power to evaluate opportunities on your terms, not just on what's available. You stop asking, do I have what they want? And start asking, do they have what I want? That shift in mindset is huge. It fuels your motivation throughout the entire job search. Second, it makes decisions easier. When you have objective criteria about what matters most to you, you know which interview processes to prioritize and when to confidently walk away. Without this clarity, you end up making rushed decisions when offers come in, potentially compromising on things that actually matter. And third, and this is the big one, it anchors your focus on the destination rather than any temporary rejection along the way. When you know where you're going, a single rejection doesn't derail you. You also know how to decide between which interviews to prioritize when you have to make difficult scheduling decisions under pressure. And finally, it gives you more motivation and energy to manage through what, for many PMs today, is possibly the most difficult job search you've ever been through. Let me share a quick story to show you what this looks like in practice. Just this week, I was helping a former big tech head of product negotiate an offer for a staff PM role at an AI startup. It's an exciting moment, right? But that nagging question came up. Is this the right fit? So I immediately pulled up how she had defined her next role at the start of our work together. 10 attributes, stack ranked by priority. And here's what we found. This role hit 9 out of 10. And just like that, reassurance. We knew this was the right fit. Then we moved on to negotiate the offer and she accepted. And that's the power of doing this work up front. You're not second guessing yourself when the moment comes. You know. Now, before I walk you through the framework step by step, I've put together a written guide that takes you through this entire process with examples and prompts that you can use yourself. If you want that guide, just check the link in the description to get your hands on it. It's completely free. All right, let's get into the framework. Okay, here's the practical framework for defining your ideal role. And the first step is simple. Write down what you want in your next job and what you do not want. This isn't just a mental exercise. You need to actually write it down. So grab a notebook, open a doc, whatever works for you. Start by asking yourself, what did I actually love about my last job? Your answer probably wouldn't be, I was a product manager at a fintech startup. You'd talk about the team dynamics, the product's impact, the learning opportunities. Or maybe it was the autonomy you had, or working with a brilliant design team, or seeing measurable results from your work. Write that down. Then ask, what are my must-haves? This is open-ended. Think about what must be true about the next role or company. Maybe it's a product leader that you can learn from, or perhaps you want more autonomy, or maybe you just want to deliver measurable value because your current role doesn't measure anything. And then the flip side, what are my must-nots? What do you want to avoid? Control freak founder, 70% tech debt, limited growth? Write it down. Next, you want to think about 1 to 3 high-level career goals, things that you can achieve over the next few years. How will this role help you get to where you want to be over this longer arc of time? These don't have to be overly detailed. They could be things like become a chief product officer, or start my own business, or achieve a healthier work-life balance. You just want to get clear on the direction that you're heading. Because when you know where it is you're trying to get to, you can evaluate what role the next job will play in helping you get there. And if it's not aligned with your career goals, don't bother. And real quick, if you're finding this useful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I regularly publish new videos with actionable advice for product managers like you who want to level up their careers and land better roles. Back to the video. Okay, here's where it gets specific. You want to write out a list of up to 10 attributes that matter most to you in your next role. This is how you do it. You start with bullet points, and then you elaborate with specifics. I'm going to give you some real examples from actual clients I've worked with this year. One said, startup or growth phase, but should still have established product market fit, not 0 to 1. This one is clear about the stage of the company. They don't want to work in a big tech, but they don't want to be at the very start of the journey either. Another client said, comparable salary to what I was making before, $230K. I don't need that much, but not a huge step down. This one just proves that salary isn't what's most important, but they have set some guardrails for themselves. Another one said, IC work. Managing people is such an energy drain for me. This makes it clear that they shouldn't bother with manager roles, or even coach player where they're expected to lead other PMs. Another client said, I just want a good boss. I want to learn and be guided. Haven't had that in too long. For this client, they really want to learn from someone else to get better. So a manager who doesn't know how to do the job well or doesn't care about the growth of their team won't be a good fit. Another client said, flexibility in working hours, not a 9-to-5 job. This client really values the freedom they have in their current job. It might limit which companies are a good fit, but they know what's important. And finally, intellectual challenge. I don't want to work on some internal project. I want to focus on work that makes a difference. They want to find motivation and energy from what they work on. See how specific these are? That's what you're going for. And finally, once you've got your list of up to 10 attributes, stack rank them. You want to sort them starting with the single most important one. And this is critical because when you're evaluating opportunities, you need to know what matters most. Is it the learning opportunity, the salary, the product domain, the team? Knowing your priorities makes every decision easier. I want to tell you what happens when clients actually complete this exercise. Their entire job search changes. They become more selective and more confident. They stop applying to roles that don't align. They know exactly why they want a specific role beyond the obvious criteria. Tailoring their resume or CV becomes simpler. Interview questions to ask flow naturally, and accepting an offer becomes much more rewarding. I had one client, Sarah, who'd been applying to everything that came up. She was burnt out and getting nowhere. And so we did this exercise together, and suddenly she had clarity. She cut her applications by half and started landing interviews for the roles that actually mattered to her. Within 2 months, she had 2 offers to choose from, and she knew exactly which one to pick because it hit 8 out of her 10 attributes. And that's the difference this makes. All right, here's what you need to do. Just take 30 minutes today or this week at the latest and write down what you want, what you don't want, and what matters most. You start with your must-haves and your must-nots, set 1 to 3 career goals, list up to 10 key attributes, then stack rank them. Your future self will thank you. And honestly, if you haven't asked yourself what your next role should be in the last 6 months, now is the time. Don't let complacency get in the way of achieving your goals. Now, if you want more hands-on support with this, I run workshops and one-on-one coaching sessions where we work through this together. Links are in the description. Once you know what it is you're looking for, then it's time to make sure your resume CV are built to get you those interviews. Watch this next video to know exactly what matters and how to get more interviews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.